Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. Conversations that cool. Kitchen talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk, let's talk. Conversations that cool. Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk, let's talk. What you wanna talk about?
Hey, hey, hey.
What's going on?
Not much. How y'all doing?
I'm doing all right. I don't know if my connection is working tonight or not. So if I'm freezing or what, please let me know.
Well, I can see you. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Yeah. Now,
Okay,
Lisa, we can't see you at all.
At all. There
Really?
you go.
Yeah.
Now we can see you.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what that is. My little button here, it does look a little low. Connection is unstable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah.
there it is.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
I
Mine
don't
was
know
doing that.
why. This is the same place I sit every week.
You know,
Listen. Mine was doing a class earlier, and mine was doing the same thing. So that's why I'm like, can't tell you what it is, but yeah, mine was doing the same thing. Poor connection. I just had to wind up ending the class.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
it's the technology. They always changing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm telling y'all,
there's something in the water.
be prepared. I'm putting cash under my mattress.
Well, listen. You can put the cash under your mattress, but if nobody's taking the cash,
There it is.
Somebody gonna take cash. I promise you.
They're not gonna take it.
Well, you know that they're moving. They're doing a lot of moving to digital currency.
I get that.
COVID kind of helped push that.
I get that. But when you can't take it digitally, somebody gonna take some cash.
Well, you might have to have something more
It's gonna be
concrete,
the
like
mom.
silver,
It's
gold,
gonna be the mom
platinum.
and pop store that don't nobody want to go to, that they still trying to hang in there. I'm gonna be able to eat and drink water and everything because they're gonna have everything, and they're gonna have a regular cash register where they count out them ones, them fives, them tens, them 20s. I'm telling you.
That might need to be your new venture right there.
I'm just saying. It's gonna be
got you.
the candy lady down the street still gonna have some candy. I'm trying to tell you. Some candy and a lily dilly.
Yeah. Some pickled eggs.
She gonna have something, and she don't take no card.
She gonna be taking gold and diamonds.
Listen, I bet she take Cash App now.
She might take a cash out, but she's still gonna take a cash.
Isn't that interesting that even the mom and pops is taking cash out?
I'm telling you,
grandma taking cash out.
It is how it's going. Listen, like we didn't even welcome the people. Listen, this is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that
and that is what they do. That is what they do. So excited to be in the kitchen. We've been gone for 2 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good to be back.
It is. I miss you guys when we don't come together.
Yeah, it's good to be seen and not viewed.
Hey, that's always a good outlook.
Okay. Well, I mean, but is it like, do we know?
Well, you kind of know because somebody's confirming that.
Well,
confirming what?
That they can see you.
Is it better? No. I'm saying,
and you can see them.
Is it better?
Well, basically,
we don't know what the
other side.
No, but what we're saying, we're not thinking on the other side. We're thinking about just in this life.
And
in
this
this
present
life,
moment, correct.
in this life, if I'm being viewed, then that means this life is over.
But what I'm saying is, we don't know if that's better or worse.
Well, the thing is, this is the fear of the unknown. See, some people are tired of living but scared to die.
True.
Yeah.
That's a whole new kitchen talk right there.
That is. Marvin will take us there in a hot second.
Hey,
I
listen,
love it.
listen, with that being said, I'm gonna stop right there.
Nah.
You know, it's been a lot going on that we have not talked about, and that I definitely want to get your point of view on. So I did put some things, in our text messages. And the one that's, and I know people have talked about this, but the one that's getting me, I guess, the most, well, not the most, but what is up with our First Lady, Jill Biden? Just gonna invite everybody. Everybody can come. All y'all come. Just come.
Yeah.
What is that? That is, the honor is the fact that you won. You get to come to the White House. That's the honor, right?
Yeah. Well, what she's doing, she's taking it back to
Everybody get a trophy.
T-ball.
Everybody get a trophy.
Right. Little league football, where with the little kids, and you don't keep score. You know what I mean? Really, no one wins, and everyone gets a trophy. Right? Listen. They've been inviting the winners.
The winner.
Since what? Early 1900s, late 1800s. The winners. You know what I mean? And if you look at it, think about this, right? Years ago, I still remember this play because Patrick Ewing is one of my favorite players. Now, to me, Jordan is the GOAT, but and I say in my what that I've seen, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say he's the greatest ever because I haven't seen others play, but the whole point is, I remember this one play. Scottie Pippen slammed the ball right on Patrick Ewing, knocked him down, and then when he was trying to get up, he pushed him back down and was standing over him, right? Listen, ain't nobody feel sorry for Patrick Ewing.
No. Did Patrick Ewing get up and beat him down?
He tried to. He tried
to fight, but it didn't happen like that.
They stopped that. They closed that down quick.
See, that was extra.
But yeah, there's extra. But all I'm saying is that stuff happens all. And listen, we say this right here in football, in basketball, they're intense sports, and you're gonna see some intense stuff, and you're gonna hear some intense stuff. But they don't say stuff; they say the other words. But the whole point is, stuff happens. Like they're talking trash all the time. One of the most underrated greats. You don't hear them. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves sometimes. Larry Bird, right? Man, Larry Bird, was a bad man. Larry Bird talks so much trash. When you listen to the interviews that they give about Larry Bird would talk so much trash to you, but then he gonna back it up. He gonna do what he said. But the whole point is, again, it's that's the nature of the game.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
But you know what, Doc, at the end of the day, still there's a first place and there's a second place, right?
Yeah.
And if anything, you could talk that talk on the court, but at the end of the day, there should be a winner who goes to the White House. And if anything, I think what Jill Biden should have did is when they were vice president, if you came in second place, you go see the VP. There should be a spot just for you to say, you know what, we won, we get.
You know what that spot
honor.
is? You know what that spot is?
At the house.
At the house.
That's your hometown parade.
At the house.
That's your hometown parade. Go to the mayor's house.
That's it. Go to the mayor's house. I like that. Yeah.
But again, there's something. If you wanted to do something, do something that showcase second place, but still
No,
keep. So
no.
I'm going to give you an example. Donald Trump. I don't know if you remember his show, The Apprentice, and the only guy who won the show was I can't remember his name right now. Very good. The guy was talented. He knew his stuff. He did everything well. It was hard for the rest of the group to keep up with him. So he wins. And the night that he wins, there's this other lady, Caucasian lady, to be specific, who came in second place. Donald Trump goes on to say, well, instead of just having you win, his name was Randall. Instead of having just you win, Randall, we want both of you. How about both of you take on The Apprentice? And he was so smart and clever. He said, no, the name of the show is The Apprentice, not The Apprentice. There's only one winner. And yeah, you want to change the game so that she could feel good about herself and she could feel okay. That's not how it works. And I think that's what we do. We like, okay, you know what? We want everybody to feel good about themselves. No. They did what they needed to
So
do.
it ain't so you could still feel good about yourself, or good about your accomplishments,
I would
good
agree.
about this. That don't mean I need to give you a trophy. You need to
That's
learn how to deal
correct,
with
Mundo. Correct,
disappointment. You
Yeah.
need to learn how to deal with the fact that you're not gonna be number one every time.
Correct.
Or
Correct.
if you are number one every time, you number one every time. It's a game.
But
We have
let's
to
just
honor
call it
that.
what it is, though. Let's just call it what the problem really was. It's not about first and second. It's not about who won or lost. It's about the fact that Angel Reese was taunting the girl Caitlyn, right? Now, again, Caitlyn is a big girl and she could dish it out.
Right.
But
you know how when it's on the other foot and you don't like it and somebody's doing it to you, so you trying to ignore it. And she was trying to ignore, and old girl like, no, you gonna see this. You gonna see me say you can't see me. So let's just call it what it was. And so now here it is. You got people calling out Angel Reese saying, "Oh, she's this and no class and this that." Why? Because she taunted a player, right?
No, but let's be specific and be real too, Brother Scott. She taunted a specific type of player. She taunted a young Caucasian woman.
Well, not just a young, but she was considered one of the star of the league.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, you know what I mean. But I think this is the thing. The girl, and I guess this what I'm saying. I don't really want to point it at because Caitlyn, she understands the game. She dished
Correct.
it. Now you got to be able to what? Take it. It wasn't her. It was really those people on the outside trying to now make it something bigger than what it was. I mean, listen, I done played spades before and gave many trips to Boston. You feel me?
One way.
One-way trip.
Straight to Boston.
But guess what? I done took a couple of rides there myself.
Right.
It get cold in the wintertime. You know what? And when you win it, oh man, talking is good.
It is.
When you lose it, you got to learn how to be quiet and take it.
And take it. But you know what? But you know what, Brother Scott? It's not her, like you said, that need to be quiet and take it. It's the people who are watching who just need to be watching. There's no reason for you to interrupt.
To make such a big deal.
Correct.
Out of that.
Right. That's
and let me ask you this question. If the shoe was on the other foot.
It had been on the other foot. Because it's the same girl who did the "you can't see me" before.
She did that to
no, I'm saying with the vice president, the wife would Jill Biden say, "Hey, let's bring these girls from LSU up here to take this honor as well."
Well, again, I would like to say this, and again, this just again my opinion. again, I don't think it's necessarily the fact that I want to bring the second place team. It's the fact that the media made such a big deal about a black girl taunting a white girl. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They made such a big deal about it to where now, okay, we want her to make sure we want to make sure they feel good about
Correct.
themselves. And
Mhm.
that's, you know what I mean? And again, that leads to another thing in the sense of our view of men and women's sports.
Mhm.
Because in men's sports, I mean, come on, you know
They
they're gonna trash
right.
talk,
They trash talk and they wouldn't have said no
and
more
they
about
they
it.
don't say anything, and it's not about black, white, whatever.
But you're
It's about the
supposed to
fact.
be a lady and you're not supposed to act like that.
So that's the other side of it too, is that we're
Mhm.
still viewing men and women's sports differently. And so
Mhm.
here it is, because those same people, black, I mean white, whoever was against Angel Reese and what she did are the same ones that look at in the men's sports and see people talk trash and say nothing.
Mhm.
Those were the same ones that see Angel saw Caitlin do this, do the Johns, you know, the you can't see me the week before to South Carolina players, and they said nothing. The
Nothing.
same ones.
Nothing.
But again, you know, when that thing is on the other foot and it's a competitive sport, now you feel like, okay, this is wrong. And at the end of the day, I think what the wrong is the fact that, come on, we made a big deal out of somebody trash talking a trash talker.
Mhm.
And you know what? Takes me to Gary Payton. Great at trash talking. When I tell you he was good, he did it to get them out of their game. It's part of the game.
Yeah.
And I think there are people who don't understand that, who tried to get into that. But again, it was to save a specific person's feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's
At the end
okay.
of the
She's okay.
day, that's what that was. And really and truly, I think, you know, the first lady, her take on it was the fact of, oh, we just gonna try to, you know, do something for this other team so that, you know, so they won't
I'm
feel
like,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Why would that be your cause that you take up?
Correct.
Right.
And you know
It's
what?
so much going on in the world, and
I
that's the
love
one
the
you take
fact
up.
that the girl said, nope. You know what? We may not want to come.
She
LSU
did.
said nope.
She was like, First Lady Obama, can we come to your house?
Yep.
Yeah, but you know what though, and with that being said though, you know, with that being said too, man, don't pull the Obamas in this. See,
No.
because you know, all it took is for Michelle Obama to reply, "Come on, baby," or whatever.
Right,
There's
Oh,
a
right.
and let me
whole
go.
nother
It
nother
would have
thing.
been all over. It would have been
Yeah,
all over.
yeah. So don't pull the Obamas in this. Let
But
that
now
president.
she would not have said that. She would have been very, if she got in the mix, she would have been very,
If anything,
high.
they would have
She would
just
have took
went
the
over
high road
there
and
without.
taught them how to take the high road.
Yeah, they would have just went over there without, all of the hoop ha and blah blah blah. People would have known. Okay, they're coming over.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I just think that was something that, you know what, at the end of the day, the first lady didn't need to
They didn't.
comment on that. You know what I
They did.
mean? But at the same time, you know, who are we? We all comment on stuff sometimes we don't need to comment on. So, you know what I
But
mean?
no,
That's,
but you know what the difference is? She could act on it.
yeah, that's
She
true.
she has the power to act
She
on it.
has the
And in
power to
turn,
act
that
on
would
it.
have diminished
The
what the
accomplishment.
girls had achieved, right? They achieved first place. We did that. We won. We beat all
Yeah,
of these teams to get to this spot.
right.
And one of the honors of getting to this spot is actually going to the White House.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
who made that? When I need to go back and look at who made that and when that became the thing. But
Again, I think they said that happened in the early 1900s, late 1800s, where the first team that won, it was like a baseball team or something like that, went to the White House.
And they start doing it. So here is my question. Who is teaching the children to feel bad if you don't win a game? That doesn't have anything to do with who you are or your self-respect. So why now do I need to make sure I give everybody a trophy so that they'll feel good?
Well, I
It's
think it
not,
goes.
instead of teaching them that this is a part of life,
Yeah.
but it's still not who you are. It still doesn't speak to the whole of you
Correct.
because you didn't outplay or win, a
Great
ball
point.
game. You are still an incredible person. So why not that messaging versus everybody get a trophy? So now it's like, well, what's the point?
I think too, you got to go back and think about sportsmanship, right? Is that still being taught? Do people understand that process? And then two, the experience that some people have. They tried and tried but never won. They always came in second or third or fourth, or they didn't make it at all.
Yeah.
How did that make
And
them
that
feel?
might be
Well, but
not your
again,
game.
I'm about to say
Correct.
that you might need to find a different game, different
Right.
sport.
Correct.
Right.
But then
But if I
people
go
take
and
it
I still get a
internally.
trophy, then I'm gonna keep trying.
They take it internally and say, no, it's not the game, it's me. But
Well, no, I don't
again,
think
I
that's
think
I don't
that
think that's the case.
sportsmanship piece and that coaching piece
Well, yeah,
where we
but I don't
talk
think that's the
about those
case.
parts of the game, I don't think that's being discussed.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't think that's the case. I coached football for 7 years.
I can't say
Yeah.
everybody, Doc. So I agree
Yeah,
with you. There's some
but what
coaches
I'm
doing
saying
a great job.
is out there. So what I'm saying is this. So when you're in a competitive sport where you put points on the board, somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, right? So as an athlete, you're putting, it could be a spelling bee. I don't care. When you put hard work into something, there is a level of expectation and a desire to win.
Sure.
When you don't win, there is a level of frustration, a level
Sure.
of but that's just par for the course. That don't
Sure.
mean give me a trophy because so I won't feel bad. I'm gonna listen. That trophy don't make me feel better. The truth be told, you know what'll make me feel better
A
if I
win.
won.
Yep.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, sportsmanship really came into. I remember years ago, you score a touchdown, and the coach would tell you, "Hey, act like you've been there before. Just get the ball back to the referee." Right? But what that was doing was that was stifling some kids' personality, so forth,
Yep.
so on. Because guess what? When we play kill the man with the ball or whatever you call it growing up, what you do when you score,
You
you talk,
celebrate it.
you celebrate. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So this sportsmanship comes out in different ways, but trash talking is not looked at now as a level of unsportsmanlike, not look like it's being unsportsmanlike. Trash talking is just a part of the game. It's part of what I do to try to get in the head of my opponent so that I can try to get any type of advantage. If I can take them out of their game, then hey, you know what I mean? Whatever I can do, so now I can win.
Yeah. So, um, I just, yeah, she did retract her statement though.
Oh, she had to.
Yeah, yeah, she had to.
She had to.
Yeah, she didn't have much choice.
Nope.
And she did offer them. I think they said they was going. I didn't keep
Oh
quite
no,
up
they
with all
confirmed
of
that
it.
they're going.
They are going?
They
Okay.
are going. Yeah.
Yeah. But I was like, wow, really, Jill? Come on. So here is another little tidbit of news that caught my eye was the the man whose conviction was overturned, but now they overturn the overturn. I was like, what?
No, his conviction was overturned, but then he did something else to
No, not this one. This is in, let me see what it say. So he was sentenced to death row, won his freedom, but then they came back and said, never mind, we need you to come back. This was in where was this? It's here in Florida, I think.
I was about to say, hopefully not Florida.
No, it's here in Florida. Let's see.
Oh God.
So his name is Crosley Green. And he's 65 now. And he did 19 years so far. But he was sentenced to death row. And so they let him out. Yep. Somewhere here in Florida, Mims, Florida. So they let him out. They overturned it or stayed it or whatever they did and said that so it's technically been proven that he did not commit the murder. But now they're saying that whatever the evidence was, it wasn't necessarily enough to say that. So now they done changed their mind and they want him to come back and turn himself in.
Nah, it don't work like that.
It don't work like that. It don't work like that.
Apparently it does. The man got to go back.
No, they got to
put him back into trial for him to go back.
I don't think so.
If he had already won the case, and they said
no,
they
he
found
lost
him.
the case, so they found him guilty. So it's one of those wrongfully convicted, people still working on it, and they found some evidence that the prosecution withheld from the defense that could have proved his innocence.
So then they called. So he was innocent because
what do you do when you
they overturn the case?
To overturn the conviction and let him out.
Right.
But now they're saying they don't want to. They overturning that, and he need to come back.
Yeah, he can't do that.
They are.
Listen, I don't know what law they're trying to go on or whatever.
I'm telling you what but it is in Florida. It's in Florida. I'm telling you. The governor that we got, I don't know.
Did you see what it said? An all-white jury?
Right.
Listen, Dr. Scott, I think this is correct. Once you've been acquitted, then they have to redo that case.
No. I'm telling you. This thing says that his attorneys tried to appeal, but were denied, and he was ordered to come back behind bars.
Yeah, so wherever county he's in, they have to go back to the United States of America to look at the laws over the land.
Yeah, I'm not.
They reinstated his conviction.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm telling you, that's what the article say.
I got you. I hear you.
Would you go back?
I can't
go back. I don't know. Where can he hide?
Where can he hide? He could go to Cuba. He could go to Mexico.
How you gonna get there? He ain't got
Canada.
No money.
You don't need money. The slaves did it. So how you can't do it?
Man, you funny.
Rosa Parks did it. How you can't do it? You got to get. Would you? Would you go back? No.
I would not go back.
No, man.
No.
I would try to hide somewhere.
Think about this, right? And so, and I'm using this case because it was a polarizing case. So why did they not put O.J. Simpson on trial again for the murder of Ron Goldman and his ex-wife?
Well, that's
they already tried him.
Right?
It's double jeopardy. That's what it's called. Double jeopardy.
Because you can't try a person again.
Correct.
For the same crime.
They're not trying him again.
But hold on. But what I'm saying is this: if they brought it before the courts, and to bring it before the courts and they file an appeal, that's like, okay, you have the right to file an appeal.
Mhm.
He filed an appeal, and that appeal showed that, hey, okay, you're not guilty, and he's let go.
Mhm.
I don't know, but again, that's why I say it's hard for me to speak on this because I'm not an attorney. But it's kind of just, how do you now say, okay, well, we put it before the courts and you're found not guilty, but now we're going to say, okay, you still need to come back because that's not enough evidence. Well, if it wasn't enough evidence, guess what should have happened in the first place? You shouldn't have let me go. But
Correct.
now that you let me go, 1 out of 12, you're going to put out an APB.
Yep.
Come on,
Because you're not getting me. You're not getting me.
I'm telling you.
There's no reason for him to go back, especially after they know he didn't do the crime.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
So
you
but
withheld evidence.
So they're
So
saying,
you withheld evidence.
right. So they're saying that. So the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed. So they first, the court vacated his conviction, which means he was free to go, right?
Mhm.
So he had been locked up. They vacated his conviction. He was free to go. But then the Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed and reinstated the conviction.
And the question becomes, what are they using?
I don't know. But he did not necessarily go back to try. It wasn't a double jeopardy type of situation. So I'm not sure.
But it's what Dr. Scott stated. They can't bring him back to trial, but they're using whatever kind of honky tonk system
They
to
say
bring this
he got
man.
to come back and go
No.
back in.
No.
On death row, mind you.
No. I'm
But
good.
crime he did
I'm
not
good.
commit. Isn't that something?
I'm good.
That's some
Yeah.
craziness.
And this 2023 now.
This is 2023.
But you know that there's still some backwards people, systems, counties.
Systems.
I mean, I was seeing this and I was like, oh, this is still going on. Where you have sundown towns. If you're black, you can't be out at night because you're black. In 2023,
Oh
it's
yeah.
happening.
Oh yeah.
It's happening. So we have to be, the word is we have to be vigilant. And I think that's our word for kitchen talk. Because we always talk about, voting and rights, and it's the word is vigilant. When we're not vigilant,
because you can't
things
use
like
woke
this
no
happen.
more.
Oh, did you see?
You
What
can't
did you
use
say?
stay woke.
Woke. So the girl asked the white girl, what does woke mean? And she couldn't answer the question.
Couldn't answer because
She couldn't answer the question because you
because
just using the terminology. You have no idea, no clue.
but that's one of them assimilations where they've assimilated, they've taken one of our words that we've used and they're using it totally different than what that word
And
what
it is.
was intended for.
Right.
Stay woke wasn't about environment. It was, hey, look, know where you at, mind your surroundings, be safe, be careful.
Know that it's still out there. That's what that is.
Be alert.
Be alert. And they've
know
taken the
that there's still some problems.
Yeah, and they taken that term and made it something else, and now you got people who are anti-woke. You know what I mean? So it's like the rainbow. You can't even use the rainbow now. You know what I mean? God made a covenant with Noah with the rainbow, and now we can't even use the rainbow because another group said if you put a rainbow out there, they think you calling them.
Think that's what that means.
So
yes.
Misappropriation.
Misappropriations, cultural appropriations.
Yep.
Yeah,
but again, we should be used to it because it's not the first time. It won't be the last time. We're gonna take your ideas, we'll take your religion, we'll take your thoughts, we'll take your creativity.
Yeah.
We'll take your inventions.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll take your people. We'll take your culture and
Yeah.
say, no, this is us. We
Yeah.
made that. We made you.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Big problem.
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
You know, I'm a movie guy, right? And so I love Star Trek, Star Wars. I'm a
Star
sci-fi.
Wars, baby.
Yeah. So in Star Trek, there's a being or a group called the Borg,
Mhm.
and what
It's
the
called
Borg
what?
the Borg
Mm.
and what they do is basically it's like the Hive Collective, right? And they'll go and they'll take over a person, right? And they'll take over a person's body. And basically what they do is they assimilate or bring into their collective the best parts of the being, and then the
Mm.
rest of it they destroy. You know, they get rid of because they don't need it. They don't
Mm-hmm.
consider it necessary, right? And that's what happens a lot of times in our society. You know, they assimilate, they collectively take what they would consider to be the best parts of the X, Y, and Z, and then
Mm-hmm.
what they feel that is not necessary, you know, we get rid of it. You know what I mean? I mean, think about this. You know, the term swag, you know, swagger. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
And now they
And
use that, and now they use that for everything. That's
yeah,
paraphernalia. It's it's everything. So now
yeah,
you get a whole swag bag. It's
a
yeah,
swag pack. Yeah.
yeah.
You know, but again, so that's one of the things where when you look at it, you know, just going back to, you know, the situations, you know, understanding that we're living in a day and time where you have to say what you mean what you say,
Right.
because what a term used to mean doesn't necessarily mean that anymore. You know what I mean? So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I wrote in the book, you know, you got to be aware of progressive truth. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the line is continually changing.
Mm.
This
We're trying,
world we live in. This world we live
yeah.
in.
But and you know the crazy thing about it is all this is going on. I true and this me, I truly believe that a lot of this also is being fed by foreign countries. I mean, the
As
hatred and the
distractions.
as because so for example, and we don't have time to get into it, and I'm not an expert in this area, but you know, America, our economy is we're not based on gold anymore. You know, the value of the dollar, this, that, and other, is not based on the amount of gold that we have. You know, it's based on the stability of the country. And so right now, the dollar is the dominant currency in the world. And so America is the dominant superpower, right? But what we got to understand, and it's not to put fear in people, but China is trying to become that dominant superpower. And so they're doing a lot of things to undermine our society. And we're just so, I guess, gullible. We're falling for it, you know. So we're consistently, you know, riding the consistent mall shootings and those types of things. You know, again, put us in a place where you know you know where once people would love to want to come to America, now there's a level of fear because
Yeah.
hey, they don't
Yeah.
want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
And so our economy worldwide becomes weakened.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think at the end of the day, and what people got to understand is this: is if our dollar falls, if China becomes a world superpower, then what's immediately the lure and attraction of being American around the world is no longer there, and a divided America can't stand.
And we getting there even more and more and more so every day.
So that's the conversation that we have
Mm-hmm.
to have with every community from the standpoint of a divided America is a weak America. And we have to get to the place where we can have our differences and still work together. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? I play football, and you don't have to like everybody on the team, but we can still work together and
But you got to work together.
make sure we accomplish a common goal,
Yeah.
right? And in America, that's what we have to understand. We got to be able to get because, man, I'm telling you, China's on the move.
I was on a plane and people were watching their movies and whatnot. And it was interesting. I saw this guy, older guy, watching Remember the Titans. I'm like, wow, out of all the movies to watch, he pulls up Remember the Titans. And it
Yeah,
goes back to what you said. It's a team collective. We may not agree, we may not understand, but we're going to work together to achieve the common goal, right? So when we start losing that,
Yeah.
then we start losing value.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and
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 work
and that's
together for real. Like if you think about what you just said about the Titans, like the white guy, the white coach that was passed over for Denzel's character, he pretended to get along.
Right.
But he had to come to a place that was like, okay, we need to work together for real.
Right.
So that's the other thing is that we'll do so much, but we have not united and worked together for real.
yeah,
And I will tell you, Lisa, it has to be on a consistent basis, right?
Sure,
So we'll do it in times of war, in times of chaos,
sure.
but we
So
also have
like
to
we
do it
saw
in
with
times of peace.
9/11. So like we
Correct.
saw with
Correct.
9/11 in crisis.
Correct. Oh,
Supposedly, we
we
all,
got civil
came
war. We
together.
need everybody on
However,
board.
we did not all come together with George Floyd.
Correct.
And
Yeah.
that was definitely a time of crisis.
Correct.
I mean, not to say that his was any more
No.
valuable than the
You said it
others.
right. It was one of many.
Right.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
fact that a police officer, knowing he's being filmed,
Mhm.
will continue to murder somebody that's in custody. That speaks volumes.
Right.
Yeah, and that's a just leads to a whole different story. You know what I mean?
It does.
And just bringing up this to say that when we look at using the term woke and anti woke and all these different things, I really feel like at the end of the day these are bigger distractions for what's going on in America and
agree.
around the world.
I
And
agree.
if we don't, as America, again, we have this level of arrogance that America, we're just the best, right? And you have the when you look at different polls, you say, well, what are we really the best in?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because we're not the best in education, we're not the best in transportation. You follow what I'm saying? Other countries, I mean, when you look at the systems and the rail systems they have and the train system they have, they run rings around us and what we're doing and so forth and so on. So you really say, okay, what we're the best in? We're the best because we have a level of confidence. But where does that confidence come from? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so just getting back to the place where we have to find a way to find some common ground because if we don't wake up and we could keep fighting woke and get knocked to sleep.
It's happening. It's like happening. Like again, like you're saying, just so many distractions. I think about that with this whole that's what you want to jump on, Miss Biden. You want to jump on that? It's so much going on, and that's what you want to use your voice for?
Yeah.
It's so much going on.
And that brings up an interesting point. Has she said anything about anything besides that?
That's a
Not
good
that
question.
I know of.
Because
So you know what?
But then
Michelle
again,
Obama, I need to bring this
again,
up. I need to bring this one up. Michelle Obama's biggest thing was health, right? You
Yep.
want to eat healthy.
Yep, and you knew
I
it.
had a coworker who showed me a picture that the garden that she put together is still, they're still maintaining that garden, still using that garden, still taking product from that garden, right? That was her cause. And I'm like, Lisa, you made a good point. What's your cause? What are you rallying behind so
Is she
that
still
when you're
teaching?
long gone, that's what we could say, yeah, that was your thing.
Because I
It
didn't
could.
think she was gonna be doing too much because she was supposedly gonna keep her job.
I thought she kept, so she's not working.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's why I thought we hadn't heard nothing from her
And
because she
her
was
cause
working.
could, her cause could be you come to the White House. You come to the White House. That could be her cause. Hey, look, first place, second, it's okay. We all do it. That could
We
be her
all
cause.
come to the White House.
Leave her alone. Let her do her thing.
Okay, Jill, I get you.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
let
her
you do
thing.
that.
You
I'll
get
let
a
you do
trophy. You get a trophy.
that. So now, what y'all think about this? Clarence Thomas and all his luxury trips and stuff from the Jim Crow people. I mean, not Jim Crow. It's another.
You're right.
Yeah, the
You
Freudian
got it.
slip.
From his dear friend
Well,
Crow.
I think it's more not just him, it's his wife, right? So he's getting entangled in an entanglement.
He married.
But
Ain't no entanglement.
I think one of the things, like you just stated, it's a distraction, and we got to be careful about what's happening and who's doing what. And again, we have to be vigilant to say, okay, we may need to change some of these laws in terms of who's
But they
making the
don't feel
laws.
like they should be governed.
Correct. Or how long should you be in that position?
See,
Some people may need to leave.
This is the thing, though. This is more than a distraction to me, and this is not just a distraction, but a major problem. Because one of the things about it is your court system needs to be fair, unbiased, right? That it has to be. So what's one of the biggest issues that we had with policing in America? It wasn't that police officers in some situations weren't brought to trial. It's just that the system would not what? Convict.
Yep.
You follow what I'm saying? We just got to a place now where the system will do what? Convict. What kept number 45 from overturning the election? The court system. Because everything had to be filed through the courts, and the judges had a level of integrity that said, we're not going to do this. That's not right. They held true to their job. And I tell you, every judge, I don't care what Democrat, Republican, who would put them in, I give them a round of applause for doing what was right. And I really prayed for them, and I appreciated that because they did what was right. What happens when you have someone who's getting paid, when certain things go to their court, now you feel like there's a level of obligation because of everything that they've done for me. The least I could do is do this for you.
Yep.
So that brings in now a level of bias to a place where we can't have that bias.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Quid pro quo.
You can't have that where now you pay for my trip, and so now I'm going to vote for this because I feel like this is what's going to be in your best interest. So that's the thing, and so that's why you look in the court system. Judges have certain things, and judges get paid certain ways. Why? Because we need to have a level of look. You're not for hire. You know what I mean? And there's a level of integrity. That needs to stay within that court system. Especially when we start talking about the highest court in the land.
Correct.
So this is not about his wife. His wife is there and yet she's involved. But this is not about his wife. This is about him, because at the end of the day, it wasn't her job to report the stuff.
No,
It's his job.
what I meant by that, Doc, is her influence on him. Her influence on the decisions and the things that it shouldn't be there, but it still influenced him. He
But
did
he's a
it
judge,
knowing that he could get away with it.
He's a judge. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She shouldn't listen. She shouldn't be able to influence him into not reporting those gifts.
And you're 100% right. But
You know
she
what I
has
mean?
influence on him.
So when they start talking about who leaked what about the abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, you follow what I'm saying? You kind of got an idea now who leaked it. Cause oh boy, he probably went home talking to her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pillow talk. Right.
Why do you think go back to why do you think President Trump wanted to have certain things get to the Supreme Court? Because he felt like he had somebody in the Supreme Court that he got. That's the problem with that.
And then how can you trust that? Like, if you don't have a level of integrity, how can we trust that you're gonna do the job?
Yeah, but again, and see that's the thing too, Lisa. And that's a very good point. That's a very good point, because now what tears down our system? Lack of trust.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't trust in the political system, right? And so what happens? You just vote in anybody, and these people do more to undermine that trust. You know, if there's something going wrong in your neighborhood, whether that's like some violence going on, who do you want to be able to call?
Don't trust it, depending on who you got. You don't trust the police.
But that's my point. It's violating that trust.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, that's the group that you need to be able to what?
Yeah.
Need to be able to trust.
Be able to trust. Like now, who am I gonna call?
Right. And now all that now, I need us to understand all that now is designed to be the framework for a fall of a society.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you can't trust the things that are put in place to keep the society, operating within a certain framework, then what happens to the society?
Yeah.
The society, it collapses.
Yeah.
And so that's what I need us to, again, that's just my thing now. We have to understand that America is only as strong as its people. And right now, America is not strong. We're vulnerable. We're weak. The dollar is not strong. It's hanging on by a thread, because at the end of the day of where we are, and COVID helped kickstart a lot of things, because COVID moved everything to show everybody, guess what? You don't have to pass money. I was someone yesterday at an event, and I wanted to give the young man a tip and realized I ain't had no cash. Then I thought about it, I'm like, dog, how many days have I gone without cash? You know what I'm saying? I go to the barber shop, Cash App.
Cash App. Yep.
PayPal.
Yep.
So understanding now, and now get this, and this is again a whole other conversation. We have to bring somebody on with money, but the Federal
Reserve.
Federal Reserve are thinking about moving towards a digital currency.
That is so scary to me.
Yeah. So again, that's what all this stuff is going on, and that's why part of this platform, and we need to get out there. Look, we got to be able to find some common ground, even with people that we don't like, because at the end of the day, if we don't pull it together,
it's gonna crumble.
You look 10, 15 years down the road, it's not going to be what you think, right?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And the same way that President Trump was calling other countries S-hole countries, you know
Yeah.
what? Guess what they be calling us? S-hole country. You follow
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because we got mass shootings on a regular basis, our court systems. Again, that sounds like third world countries.
Well,
And
you know
we
what? You brought up one of the points that Lisa was wanting us to talk about, which is the gun law.
we
So-
finna be the Wild Wild West. If we not already.
Oh,
I'm
so
like, are you serious? And then how old do you have to be to buy a gun? Can you like buy a gun at 18?
I think
That's what
18.
I know that's what they were pushing for.
So you can buy a gun at 18,
Yep.
but you can't buy a drink at 18. You got to be 21. You have to be 25 to rent a car. But you could buy a gun on your 18th birthday.
But you got to think about it too, because it's not something that many of us have experienced through our upbringing, where we went hunting and we went out to use that pistol. We understood the responsibility of having that type of weapon. It's just two different worlds. Now, I think there's a place in understanding how to feed yourself, protect yourself. But some of these weapons that they have, they don't need to be in the streets. They don't need to be in the hands of not even just an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, like buy AR-15s and stuff like that, assault rifles, yeah. But this is my thing to it, right? And people talk about this all the time, because people say, guns don't kill people. People with guns kill people,
That's
right?
correct. That's correct.
And then they say one of my biggest things is this, if I don't agree with making laws where 18-year-olds can just go out and buy a gun or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you got to be, when you start talking about gun laws, you got to be careful, right? Mm-hmm. Because let me ask you this. Okay, let's say they create gun laws to where it just makes it hard to get a gun, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think it's still hard to get a gun for a criminal?
No.
Not.
That's correct. You hit it on the point, Doc. You hit it.
The criminal is still going to get the gun.
Yep.
And the law-abiding citizens, the ones that follow the rules, are going to be the ones without the gun.
Sure, I get that.
So with that being said, gun control and creating laws that make it difficult necessarily to get guns may not always be the answer that you're looking for to solve your problem, because you'll find yourself where all the criminals have guns and you're the only one that don't have one. Correct. You follow what I'm saying? So there has to be some other things that go in place other than just saying, okay, we're going to make it harder for people to get guns. Now, what I will say, until they do that, right? Until they do that, you know what you need to do?
Get a gun.
Go get you a gun.
I don't want a gun.
Well, I got you. I listen, but don't get one gun, then get two. That'll make you feel better. Don't just get a gun, get a shotgun. That way you ain't got to be accurate.
Correct. You know what the piece to that, Lisa, is when you were younger, did you want a car?
Sure.
Of course, right? And when you got that car, you had to learn how to use it, right? You had to learn how to do certain things to maintain it. You have to go and get it checked on a regular basis so that it works well for you when you want to go. It takes you from A to B.
After I burned out the transmission.
Correct, because you didn't put the oil in it, and you found out the hard way this is not what you do, right? It's the same thing with having a pistol, a gun, a shotgun, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing. We have to, Dr. Scott, you made a great point. We have to put things in place to say, okay, if you're going to have it, let's ensure that it's used properly that you are able to use it, that is registered, and we know that this belongs to you, just like your car. If somebody takes it, they know that no, this car, because of this serial number, belongs to you. So
Yeah.
I don't think the thing is to take it away. I do think there's a way for us, just like we use other things, to ensure that it's used properly and it's used for what it's meant to be
Yeah.
used for.
Do you know that people who are trained in martial arts are less likely to fight than people who are not trained?
I would agree.
People who are trained to box are less likely to fight than people who are not trained. So saying all that to say, what you realize is people who have really been trained with how to use a weapon, understanding the weapon, so forth and so on, are
Sure.
less likely. Not saying that they don't,
Right.
but they're less likely to use a gun ill-advisedly than the individual who's not trained. You follow what I'm saying?
I mean, I understand all of that, and I guess I just view it as, like you say, okay, a criminal, they gonna get their hand on the gun, like my mama say, lots of for honest people. I get all of that, but I also think that it's making it a little bit easier for somebody to say, this is how I'm gonna solve my problems. So now I'm 18. I can get a gun. Anybody try to bully me, bang bang.
But Lisa, and you're 100% right. You're right. But Lisa, that's already happening.
Correct.
No. I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying it feels like it's just one step easier instead
Yeah.
of one step more difficult.
Listen. You know it's bad
It's
when
like gun is the problem solver.
but you know where that comes from though. It's not the gun, the fact that the gun there. It's what they're seeing in social media. I
Sure.
mean, we're being programmed. I mean, it's
Sure.
being programmed. Think
Sure.
about it. You know it's bad when a 6-year-old says, "This is how I'm gonna solve my problem with my teacher."
Yeah.
That case is so bizarre.
Yeah.
That the
Was that
6-year-old
recently?
Yeah, that was a few months ago where a 6-year-old
months
shot
ago.
shot his
Because
teacher.
I do remember some years ago that is what the little boy brought a gun elementary school because somebody was bullying him. But that's what he saw at home, how they solve problems.
But at 6, that's the
Yeah,
crazy part.
yeah, yeah.
And so
And we
go ahead,
know
bro.
that our people, our, we know that there's some people who get trained very early in understanding, using, and properly handling weapons. But at 6 years old, they're also charging the parent for that. Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
That the parent is actually going to get charged for that
For the
situation.
6-year-old, but not for the 12 or 13-year-old that does the same thing.
Well, but see, that's a whole nother story because I mean that's a whole nother show because think about this, there was a situation where a black kid that was 15, did something and wound up mistakenly killing the person and was tried as an adult.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That was the wrestling, the little boy that was
Yeah.
wrestling with his sister.
And did a power driver. Was it a sister or the neighbor's child or something like
I
that?
think
It
it
was
might
a
have been his
sister.
sister.
It was
I
a
think it was his
sister.
sister.
Yeah.
And they tried him as an adult. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But
And
now
he ended
again, clearly he was doing something that a child
He
would
had
do.
seen on TV.
Right.
Yeah, seen on TV. So but at the end of the day, so we pick and choose when we want to deal with a child
Right.
harshly and when we want to now put the parents in and make the
Right.
parents responsible. So that's a whole nother story for another day. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think part of the problem is too, especially, we've been taught to be afraid of guns.
Yep.
And we've been taught that, hey, we shouldn't have them and they're dangerous and they hurt people. Why? Because so many people have used them against us and hurt us. And
Mhm.
so rather than having it as protection, we feel like we shouldn't have guns. And so that's how a lot of us run our households. But at the end of the day, I think instead of telling it, be afraid of guns, I think the thing is education. It's
Yep.
teaching them,
Sure.
and until, because at the end of the day, if they do put a law in place making it difficult to get guns, you don't want to be the one left out and not being able to have something to protect yourself. One of the
I
biggest
don't know, Marvin. I got Jesus, and that's enough.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. David had Jesus too, but he was a warrior.
Right. He had to fight the lions, the tigers, and the bears.
Yeah.
I
See,
get
the
it.
thing is that yes, you have Jesus, but Jesus gave you the tools. You got to use the tools. Just going back to the car. Jesus gave you 2 feet, and you could walk all the way. But you know what? He gave you the car, but you use the car, but you don't want to use it. So you're
But
choosing.
I got
what
the
you want to
car,
do.
but the car is not for protection. It's for transportation. I'm not going to use the car to kill nobody. Well, I'm not going to use the car to kill nobody. I said, I am.
I tell you
what?
what.
I'm not. I can't.
I tell you what. You let somebody be threatening my family with a gun, and they ain't had nothing but my car.
Well, yeah, that's true. I get that.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother. My bad. Listen, education, and we got to educate about guns. We got to educate about the strength of just it's just so much that we need to educate our people on.
It is. I agree.
Instead of programming, because the people that's being programmed, just by looking at all this stuff online, and it's just I don't know, we're not the same. But the good thing is, it's not good, but the good thing is, guess what?
What's that?
It's happening all over the world.
It is all over the world.
Yeah, China's almost to the point where they can't control the people, because guess what? The people are looking at videos too.
Correct. Right.
They're
right.
seeing what's
All over
going
the
on.
world.
Yeah,
And now they TikToking. TikTok about to get kicked out of America. Okay, I'm not. Cause listen, I don't want to get Marvin started, and I definitely don't want to get France started.
You see. No, you see who the true starter is tonight. Doc, you see that, right? The true
let me get the
starter,
finger right.
Right there. But she'll say it's everybody else, but it's right there.
Oh my goodness! So such a great show tonight, guys. We did have a lot to talk about, and probably we'll have a lot to talk about next week too. But listen, this is Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations that could.
Listen, if you are watching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. Never miss another show. If you're watching us on Facebook, hit the like button. Follow, share, all of that. And come join us back next week. We will be right here at 9 p.m. right in this same space, place, talking and stirring up some conversations and gumbo. And I don't know what we done cooked up tonight, but
she said a little dilly earlier.
Right. Oh my God. That's back from the days. That's back from the days.
For those who don't know what a little dilly is, that's a freeze cup.
It's a frozen cup. That's the Jacksonville term.
We say that down Fort Pierce too. Little dilly,
Listen, Marvin Scott has joined us tonight. Appreciate you. Fransley Moyes has joined us tonight. Appreciate you guys. Y'all been rocking with us for the longest. France, we've been doing this for a minute.
The time is moving.
It's moving.
And
then Marvin done joined the team for the last 3 years almost now.
At least. Yep.
Really?
Since COVID.
Almost, yeah.
Since COVID.
Wow.
Since COVID. Like a little bit after COVID, we went virtual, and you've been
y'all been doing this about 6-7 years then.
Almost 8.
Almost
8. Yeah. Wow.
2017.
Yeah. That's a lot of cooking. That's a lot of cooking.
A lot of cooking. Oh, but it has been wonderful show. Wonderful talking to you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Those who are in the cyberspace, as my pastor would call it. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Let's talk. What you wanna talk about? Kitchen talk.